Morning everyone. We're here for another unboxing. It seems like we've done a lot of unboxing slash unbaggings here in the last little bit, but we're here with the brand new XB2D from Team Xray. So this is a two-wheel drive buggy, a dirt edition. So I'm going to be updating my car from the XB220. This is a little bit of an older car. Haven't really felt the need for updating, but now we're going to a new clay surface indoors. I think it's a good time to start fresh with the old two-wheel drive. So there has been some updates from this older generation, XB220, to this 23. So everything we might talk about might not apply 100% from the 22, because there was a few updates that they kind of went back and forth on to get it closer to this and do some changing, but we'll go through the differences between the 20 to the 23. So, take the sleeve off here. So in typical Xray fashion, you get the barcode here, so part number, serial number, and then who packed the package. So that'll be something you'll notice quite frequent with the Xray packaging when we start getting into the box here. So first things first, on every Xray kit, you should probably know what we're gonna get. We're gonna get the certificate of authenticity. So this is also going to have your serial number for your kit if you need any warranty, anything like that. So biggest thing you get first is going to be the manual. Like we've said in the past, Xray, Techno, they have their manuals sorted. These are probably one of the best manuals in the RC world right now. So this one is going to be full color. It's going to give you lots of tips and tricks throughout the whole book. Another thing to watch out for, especially on the 110 scale cars, is going to be this graphic here. So anything that's going to be full orange or brown is going to be dirt. Anything that's blue is going to be carpet only. And then anything that's going to have both is going to be a carpet or a dirt step. So they do use the same manual for both carpet and dirt cars. So for example, building the ball diff and building the lay back transmission, you're going to get all of just the orange pages. And then I think before that was all the carpet stuff. So they use a gear diff and they're going to use the full lay down transmission in the carpet cars. So something to think about. They give you pretty much everything you need. You're gonna get a non-filled out setup sheet, so not obviously a good thing to do if you are going to build the kit. I always recommend to download the setup sheet right from Xray, so it's a good graphic to go back and forth on if you ever need it. And Xray always does a lot of good things with, say, any of their upgrades. So they're going to give you all your initial settings as you're setting it up, but it also goes through all your upgrades, all of your other things that are optional as you go through. So super nice manual. Another thing that they do separate is going to be this roadmap. So now they've made them bigger. They used to be a little bit smaller. On one side, you're gonna get all the included parts with a check, or there's gonna be an option in the tab. So this is pretty much gonna be a full parts diagram on this side. And then if we turn this around, this is an awesome exploded view to take to the track. I personally hang these up in my RC room just to be on the safe side. And then it's a nice reference point for rebuilding your cars if you leave them for a while. Another thing you're gonna get, the typical Xray black and white decal sheet. These are available in multiple different colors. I know I always run mine in hot pink, just always the color code. And then you're going to get the window masks for your body. So that's bag number one. Next thing up that we're gonna pull out is the body. So this is the exact same body that's been on a lot of the Xrays. Nothing really crazy has changed with the two-wheel drive body. This is a standard weight. There is lightweight available. Next up is going to be our oils and greases. So you're going to get super ball diff grease, black graphite grease, which is one of the better graphite greases we've used. And then you're going to get 500 CST shock oil. So that's going to be front and rear on this car, which is exactly the same as out of the box on the 20. So bearings you're gonna get here, there's a couple different sets of bearings and they're all bagged a little bit differently. So this is ball bearings with oil, and there's going to be some other ones in here as well that are greased, so you can clean those out and put more oil in them. Another thing you'll notice is now getting into the bags, there's this piece of paper. This is going to essentially be something, instead of using silica packages, something to take any moisture out so nothing rusts or anything like that. And then the other sheath in here is going to be who it was packed by. So something Xray does really, really well. Another thing that Xray does, just to be on the safe side, is going to give you essentially this extra hardware pack. So they give you a bunch of stuff, E-clips for the shock shafts, some extra wheel nuts, 3mm nuts, shock cap screws, and then just extra hardware to be on the safe side. So next thing we pull out here is going to be the ball diff. So Xray is really good at pretty much whatever step you're on, they're going to keep everything packaged together. So this is essentially the complete ball diff set. This is probably one of the better ball diffs I've used personally. Definitely don't have to rebuild them as often as some of the other brands. The plates though can be a little bit of a burden. They are really, really hard. So one thing that you do want to make sure on is you break in your ball diff a little bit slower than some other manufacturers, because you can crush the balls really, really quickly and they can become really, really gritty. So just something to keep in mind when you're building that. Same 45 and 60 mil springs that came on the old car. So 2-dot front, 2-dot rear, exactly the same. Next thing up, you're going to be getting your gearbox, and this will be bag 2. So bag 1 was ball diff, bag 2 is going to be building the transmission. So this is actually going in steps right now. So this is going to be the laid back transmission. So the exact same transmission that's currently in the XB2D. So nothing changes here. This is going to be a little bit more rear weight without having the stand up. So aluminum top shaft, you're going to get a 78 tooth spur if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 78 tooth spur and a dual pad slipper clutch setup. So pretty darn standard. And then next bag up is going to be some of the changes that we're going to see in the new car. So now between the 20 and the 23, instead of 4 upper shock tower positions, you actually get 6. So now there's 6 Siamese tolls there that you can move that upper shock position up or down. Everything else in here is going to be the same. Shock standoffs, battery hold down is going to be the same with just the spin tabs. This is also something you can move forward or backwards depending on the orientation you go. If you build a dirt car or carpet car, so the carpet car has a full lay down transmission which actually moves the motor forward, so then obviously you'd have to move your battery forward and everything else to clearance it, but super easy to do that. Next thing on the list is going to be front bulkhead, side guards. You're going to get your 2 carbon pieces. This is a great tuning option by taking screws in or out to kind of affect the flex of the car there. So one new thing that does come in this kit that has changed from the 20 to the 23 is going to be the Ackerman plate and the steering arms. So now included in this kit, you're going to be able to either do the carpet or the dirt steering. So that is actually going to flip the Ackerman plate in here and either have the tie rods on the front side like mine is right now, or that can actually put the tie rods on the back side, and then this Ackerman plate flips forward to get your clearance. So you either get the dirt, which is a little bit more docile. There's going to actually be less of the, there's going to be more Ackerman effect. So the inner wheel is going to turn a little bit more than the outer wheel. And then as we get into the carpet setup, it's going to be more aggressive. So you have less of that Ackerman effect. So the outer wheel is going to turn more essentially compared to the inner wheel. So a little bit more aggressive, which is probably what I'll do again, because our track is ridiculously tight. So something to think about while you're building your kit. Always think about track conditions. New thing from the 20 to the 23 is going to be front shock shaft length and front body length. So now they've gone to the 2 mil longer shock bodies and shock shafts. Xray is going to include your Delrin guides, Delrin pistons, and they are going to include all the shock cap O-rings and the bottom retainer O-rings as well. One thing we do, and we've talked about this on a lot of the 10 scale kits, especially the XB4s that we've done unboxings on, is going to be the O-rings that Xray uses in the kit for the guides on the bottom of the shocks there. These are 3x2.1. We do recommend the 3x2s, which is 972030 part number, and we'll link that in the description below. It'll just free up your shocks a little bit, and make them a little less sticky. The other thing that Xray does include that isn't an upgrade is going to be chrome shock shafts. So you do not have to buy those separate. Huge win. So next thing up is going to be the front suspension stuff. So same LSM arms, so this has the lower shock mount in the arm, so instead of the shock pickup being into the same plane as the front arm, it actually drops the mounting position down a little bit. Another thing that does change, which is kind of just an in-run change, is going to be the front camber link holder. So instead of 3 holes like the standard XB2D came with, this now comes with a 4-hole. You can also get this in aluminum, and we will talk about that here in a bit because there is some upgrades on this car that I would recommend going into your car if you're building one. And then same thing, you're gonna get all of the Huddy nice spring steel upper camber links, axles, all of that good stuff. And the last big bag is all gonna be rear suspension. So you're just gonna get your nice 77 mil axles, all from Huddy, all the Huddy spring steel outputs, all of that good stuff. One thing that does change on the rear shock tower, which is kind of hard to see because it is buried in here pretty good. The 20 came with a 3-hole upper position. Now the new one comes with a 4 mounting positions on the top. That was kind of the really big change. Everything else in here is pretty much exactly the same as before. So you're still getting aluminum C&D blocks. You're still getting all of that good stuff. And mostly all hard parts for the hub carriers and things like that. So Xray always does include the standard hard hub carriers there. So nothing really changes. And then you're getting the Aero Disc white front and rear wheels. These wheels we've had amazing success with. And the nice part is you can either buy them as a pair or you can buy them in a sleeve of 10. So if you ever need wheels, especially in white, these are definitely what to go with. And last, kind of but not least, we have the Rank wing. These are kind of the standard dirt wings. There's your part number. And you can have a guide of cutting them either high or low, depending on what you want to do there. So pretty much standard, nothing changed there. You're getting a redesigned chassis from the 22 car. So Xray went and actually cut right here. So they cut this end off. And what they were doing is on the D block, instead of mounting it to the chassis, you're actually mounting it to the bulkhead with a shim in between the screw and the bulkhead and that camber link. So a little, or toe block essentially. So a little bit different design now. They went back to the 20. So the only other thing that I can really see that they changed is it's not any longer, it's not any different. The only difference is going to be where they mount the centering pin here. So now on the new chassis, it's just a little bit further back, but everything else is the same. So they do say a new chassis, but it's new and redesigned from the 22, just because they cut that off and shortened it up. And last thing in the box is going to be a ton of Velcro for gluing and Velcroing your body onto the chassis. This you can probably use a third of it and have more than enough. So some people actually go front to back. I think I've used way too much. I would actually cut this down quite a bit for the Velcro, just because I've never had a body ever come off and it is still a big chore to get off. So things that we would recommend in updating. We always recommend buying a nice aluminum servo horn. They do include plastic ones in 23, 24, or 25 in the bags, but a nice aluminum servo horn is never a bad idea because usually that is the first thing to break. A good low pro servo is also a must, just because if you are going to this metal horn, now there's no servo saver in line, so the servo is the next thing to get abused. Another thing we have changed and we would recommend, this is right from Ty Testman and he came down for our clinic, is the rear camber link plate. They do include a plastic one. He does recommend to go to the aluminum, and I've seen a couple of them not break, but what happens is as you take a hard hit, so you get squirrely, someone hits you right in the wheel, usually what will happen is the ball stud will just pull out and pull the threads out of that rear camber plate. These are also an upgrade, and I think I'm gonna do it on the new car, going to the aluminum front camber plate, because I've had one break on me and I just replaced it. I mean, it was kind of a weird incident, my car got stepped on, but anyway, I broke one of those, so I'll probably update it that way. And other than that, really not much has truly honestly changed. like I said, I'm just really truly updating just because I want a new car for the clay surface, and then I have some stuff to bounce off of between my old car and the new car and find kind of a good setup that way. So really excited for the new indoor season. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build this car and we do a build comparison and really show you the differences with everything now, old car versus new car. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss that video coming out in the future. Don't forget the like button if you like the video. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments below. Like I said, I'll have all the part numbers that I would upgrade and I've upgraded on my car in the description below. So don't forget to check that out. And yeah, thank you everyone so much for tuning in and watching. We really do appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.